care, honestly, 'cause the love is still there. And if you love me like you say you do, why don't we make plans for two?
Why don't we indeed make plans for two? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of That Album. Disco, That Album this week. How cool is that, eh?
Something completely different.
Something completely different. And it a really, really funny experience because, I shouldn't say this on a public forum, but when I was about 12, 13, my mum sent me to disco dancing lessons.
Wow!
Yeah, which the shame still hangs heavy over me. But
Good mother. You have a good mother.
yeah, I think she always thought I was going to be the next John Travolta, but obviously things didn't work out quite that way. And a very interesting week of listening to disco. So 1979, a really interesting year actually as well.
Yes.
USSR invaded Afghanistan. Voyager 1 passed Jupiter. Pol Pot was deposed. Sweden outlawed corporal punishment in schools. The first country in the world to do that. Saddam Hussein took power in Iraq, and Rapper's Delight was released.
Chic based on the Chic song.
Yeah. Good films: Mad Max, Superman 2, Star Trek the Motion Picture, Moonraker, Life of Brian, Escape from Alcatraz. Great year for music. London Calling, The Specials, The Wall, Off the Wall, Breakfast in America, Highway to Hell, Tusk, Discovery, The Pleasure Principle, Voulez-Vous, and of course this. Yes. So why this album then, Erik?
I thought it was a little bit funny because I don't know if you remember, my previous album was the blues album from Muddy Waters, and that was released 1979. And then you and me have talked about that I should do a disco song, and then I was thinking disco album, and then I was thinking, okay, 1979, to show the variety between the different genres, and they are both produced the same year, 1979. 1979 was also the last year of disco. So this is the peak year for the disco music. So the disco music started a little bit quiet 73, started to take off 74, and completely exploded December 77. Do you know what happens December 77?
Is that when Saturday Night Fever came out?
Yes. Yeah. And I remember everyone in my school have seen that movie, and the music. I don't know if any one of you were young at that year, 70, because that it was a party movie. It took every teenager really strong, and the disco just exploded, for good and for bad. And some people, rock fanatics, they were really pissed off because they thought it was too much disco. Everyone was doing disco. Rolling Stones did disco. Miss You. This is really good. I love that song, Miss You. Rod Stewart did Do You Think I'm Sexy? That is
kind of disco, yeah.
Yeah. So we will come to that later. But 79, in the summer of 79, there were a radio DJ that started a fire, and people could come into an American football match. If they had the disco record, they came in for free, and then they started a fire of burning and crashing disco. And then late 79, in the 80s, and it just disappeared.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? A meteoric rise and fall for the whole world of disco. But it's funny, isn't it? Because when we look back on it, I think most people have lots of happy thoughts about disco. You know,
Yes,
it's been the kind of the soundtrack to us going to parties as teenagers and adults.
yes,
You know, you go to a party and they put on a bit of Bee Gees or whatever it may be, and everyone's up on the floor dancing, aren't they?
yes. So this is music made for having fun, and it's appeals to your feet, and not so much that you're sitting in a fauteuil in the sofa having a drink, just listening.
Yeah, although you know, so we chatted about this before we went live, and this album is a bit unusual from that perspective, isn't it? Because this has got like hidden depths and layers to it in terms of just how good the music is. Because the challenge with disco is it's kind of like got some good tunes, and that's
Yes.
about it really. Whereas this is proper music, isn't it?
Yes. So that's why I chose it, because for me the mastermind behind the album is a guy called Nile Rodgers, and he and his partner Bernard Edwards, they founded the group Chic,
Mm.
and they made a very good record that I have behind my back there.
Yeah, yeah,
78 Chic Le Freak. So then the record company asked them if they could do produce something for someone else. But they didn't want to do with a famous group. They were actually offered a number of really big stars. But they didn't want to do that because they felt that they would be limited by the star's status.
yeah.
So they wanted to have something, and also proof for the record industry that they could make star of almost someone completely,
Mm.
yeah, no one. Uh, and the Atlantic record company suggested them they should do this group, Sister Sledge, and had they had made records. They had two albums, and they have been on on in the business for 8 years. Can you believe it? And nothing happened.
And then,
They yes, and then they got doing this record with Nile Rodgers, and just exploded.
yeah, so Nile Rodgers obviously is a name that everybody's familiar with, but he's not somebody that I particularly knew what he was famous for. And in doing the research, I said to you beforehand, you know, it's so he's worked with, collaborated with, and written with, and had his songs performed by Diana Ross, Sheena Easton, Brian Ferry, Madonna, David Bowie, Michael Jackson, Grace Jones, Peter Gabriel, Cyndi Lauper, Mick Jagger, Paul Simon, Paul Young, Debbie Harry, Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Joss Stone, Daft Punk, the B-52s, Duran Duran, the Thompson Twins, In Excess, Johnny Mathis, Jeff Beck, Michael Bolton, George Michael, and others as well. I mean, this is like incredible. It's like he owns the music industry,
Yeah,
basically.
and most of them they have come to him. Diana Ross came to him because she wanted to have a hit record. David Bowie came to him and asked, "Can you do a hit record for me? Let's Dance." If those that doesn't know what's behind it, but that was what they did. The sad thing that just months before George Michael passed away, these two guys had started to discuss that they should do something together. And I know Nile Rodgers have said that he was really sad that they didn't have time to doing something that could have
Yeah.
been fantastic. Yes,
Yeah. So with all of his success, he considers this to be his best work, doesn't he?
yes. Can you believe it? So they did two albums at the same time. They did the albums that behind Good Times that came out also the same year, 79, and then they did this. So the first song on the album, "He's the Greatest Dancer," was actually planned to use by themselves as a Chic on the Chic album. But then they felt like, well, maybe it's the girls. It's better that the girls sing this song. So they gave it to the girls, and yeah, and the rest is history. So it came out that the girls' album was more successful, although it was a successful also the Good Times album, but it's not as much as Sister Sledge, We Are Family.
Yeah. So should we play a little bit of the first track?
Yes.
It's the brightest lights on that I've ever seen. It's the brightest lights on. One night in a disco on the outskirts of Frisco.
Thing is, this always makes me laugh. Just the lyrics are so cool, aren't they?
Yes. Yes.
One night in a disco on the outskirts of Frisco. It's just that they just fit so perfectly with the mood of the song, doesn't it?
And also when they sing that he has wear dresses from the latest fashion,
Yeah.
Fiorucci, Gucci.
Halston,
Yeah.
Gucci,
Yeah.
Fiorucci. Yes, it's just beautiful.
Cruising with my favorite gang. The pace was so boring, filled with out of towners touring. I knew that it wasn't my thing. I really wasn't caring, but I felt my eyes staring at a guy who stuck out in the crowd. He had the kind of body that would shame Madonna's, and a face that would make you man proud. He's the greatest dancer that I've ever seen.
I mean, it's a fantastic way to start the album, isn't it?
Yes, and characteristic is for everyone that doesn't know so much about how to recognize Nile Rodgers is his rhythm guitar. He has this famous way of attacking the strings. It's like shuka 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 shuka. And
Yeah.
that's his trademark, guitar trademark. So,
Yeah.
this was a shock for the girls because they grew up very traditional. They actually had the grandmother were an opera singer. So, and they have been working in the business for 8 years. They were accustomed to do rehearsal and know the songs before. And that was just thrown out the window, and they came in and they didn't get anything material before they went into the recording studio, and that was the way on how they wanted to produce. And that was a clash because they said we need to know what we were going to sing, so they were fed line by line during the recording studios, the sessions, the songs. And in the beginning, the girls said that they didn't like that at all. They were really upset. But that it gave them, thanks to that, the background that they actually have been working for 8 years, they actually managed to handle that approach. I'm not sure if they have taken someone that was new in the business, that the result would be as successful as they were, because that was a really difficult way on producing. So both He's the Greatest Dancer and We Are Family are taken in one take, the first take. It's unbelievable today. But
Wow.
I think that feels, you feel the enthusiasm among the girls, how they are singing, because for them it's the first thing they are singing, and they manage to handle that, and let's get the fresh feeling.
Yeah. So I mean that's a great way to start the album. Uh, but track two
Yeah.
is, I mean, just everything about this is perfect. Every
Another single. I should mention that this is single number two. Yeah. No, the We Are Family. No, yeah, we heard
Greatest
He's the
Dance.
Greatest One. So that was the single number one. On the B side on that single was We Are Family on the B side, and
Right.
then they released We Are Family as single number two, and then come number three that we are going to hear now.
Yeah. I mean, this just like
Single number three. Yeah.
the way that the different parts come in, and there's the piano with that little blue note, and then there's the violins coming in, and then there's the offbeat with the. It's just perfect, absolutely perfect. This song.
Yes.
This is the best disco song ever recorded.
Yes.
This is on my mixtape of things on the desert island. This is just unbelievable.
You are lost in music. That's correct.
It's that bit, isn't it? After
Yes.
lost him, you know, as it comes off beat, it's just so powerful how
Yes.
that's been arranged.
Have you ever seen some people lose everything? First to go is their mind. Responsibility to me is a tragedy. I'll get a job some other time. I want to go and play in front of crazy fans. Yes, I call that temptation.
Thing is, it makes you want to become a musician, this, doesn't it?
Yes.
So that responsibility to me is a tragedy. I'll get a job some other time. Uh-huh. I want to join a band and play in front of crazy fans. Yes, I call that temptation. I mean, it's magnificent, absolutely magnificent, isn't it?
So, and that's the first song was sung by Kathy, and this song was sung by Juni. So they are four sisters. One, unfortunately,
It was Joni
lost a couple of,
died
yeah,
in
yeah,
2001.
yes. So there are only three left now.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is the high point of the album for me. This is the
Okay.
high point of all of disco for me.
Yeah.
And so not the best-selling song, although a pretty good song,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
but this just absolutely out of this world. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so sometimes when he plays, because they are still touring, both the groups, and Chic, Nile Rodgers, he plays this song as it's his song on if you go to a Chic concert. Yeah. So that's how much close he is to this song. So yeah, it's a hit also for Chic.
Yeah, so oh, can we have a little bit more?
Yeah.
Give me the melody, that's all that I ever need. The music you
tell you, I have got so fit this week. All the dancing I've been doing, this has been absolutely brilliant. But I do think that this is one of those songs that you really need to hear it. If you've got a good system in the car or a good system at home, it's the sort of thing you need to play at a really high volume level.
Yes,
And
yes,
just
yes.
get immersed in the sound, because it's just, I love it. Absolutely love it.
The title is so good for me. Was Lost in Music. It has something extra that you are feeling that you are lost in the
Yeah,
music. Yeah.
absolutely. So, and I kind of feel that on both sides, and like I said, it's not like there's any bad songs on this album, but both sides, the strongest tracks are at the start of the side, aren't they?
Yes. So I mean, the A side, four songs, three of them were singles. You can't get stronger than that.
No,
So it's only
absolutely.
on the B side that starts with "We Are Family." That's the only single from the B side.
But it's an all right single to have, isn't it? It's not
Yes.
not, not a bad one.
Yes.
So track three, "Somebody Loves Me."
It's more quiet.
Yeah, and I think actually in many ways disco is all about dance, isn't it? And
Yes.
it's all about a faster, more
Yes.
upbeat kind of thing.
Yes.
So this is a much more gentle pace.
Yes.
Here I am again, alone in my lonely room. How can I believe you love me? Here I sit, just thinking a bit of the time that we spent together. We were holding hands, making lots of plans. Think of him, lover and a friend. To me, you were so easy to love.
It's beautiful, and actually it's a bit of a relief from the first two tracks, isn't it? Because that would be, if you had an album of tracks like the last one, it would be a very rich diet.
Yes. So you have to balance when when you put the songs together. You can't have three, four fast in a row. Then you're getting tired.
Yeah,
But also how he's producing the songs. If you're thinking how three almost three dimensional the production is done, it feels like the girls' voices are in front of the musicians, so they are backing her voice, but it's the voice that are in the center and a little bit, yeah, in the front.
so who's singing lead on this?
This is Kathy again. Yeah, from my point of view, she has the best voice. Yeah.
You've missed some of the dancey stuff, but not all of it, Jim. Don't worry, mate.
No.
Yeah, I mean it's lovely because you kind of sink into it, don't you? It's the texture of it is like a warm hug, isn't it?
Yes.
It's just really relaxing, and a nice counterpart to the to the previous song.
When you said a warm hug, there is a song on the Risky record album that they did, "Warm Summer Nights."
Right.
Listen to that record, and yeah, for your own listening pleasure, "Warm Summer Night." That is a feeling, yeah, with that one. So yeah, I give you a tip. Everyone. It's not only I know.
Yeah, yeah. So, which brings us on to the last track of side one, and this another
The fourth single.
yeah, and this was originally included as the B side of Lost in Music, wasn't it?
Yes.
So another another great relaxed kind of song, um, and quite a nice way to round out the album before another big hit on round up the side rather before another big hit at the start of the other side. So here we
Yes.
go, thinking of you.
Thinking of you. And here you hear
Yeah,
this
very.
typical guitar. Yeah.
Let me tell you about my love, my dear. I need you from above, my queen. With a lifetime guarantee to try. I'm sure you see. There's no reason to leave without you. What would I do without you? All I keep loving you. In the hours I do, as long as I'm living, I'm thinking of you and the things you do to me that makes me love you. Now I'm living in ecstasy. Hey, it's you and the things you do to me that makes me love.
I mean, it is a remarkable voice, isn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely remarkable. And I think what's really interesting is that there were so many kind of uh, voices like that in the 60s and 70s, weren't there? You know, so the Diana Rosses and the Supremes and all of those Motowny type bands.
Yeah.
It's like the next iteration of that, isn't it? With in many ways uh, better material, certainly better production, better recording techniques,
Yes.
um, and it's lovely because you really feel you really hear the voice up close, don't you? Here,
Yes. Yes. And next album, the next song is the first song on the B side, and that is, I think it's, I think it's rather unusual to have the title song of the album on the B side. But I think it's smart how to place them, but because I don't know if people have, if I told people that I was a DJ when I was in high school.
no,
Yeah. So, and I had DJ friends. So I mean, when you are studying, you have your economy is not good. So everything what I earned went into buying more records.
mm,
And then I played albums when I was out playing because that was more economical because you got more bang for the buck. And I had friends that never listened to the B side. They never listened to the B side, so they only listened to the first side, and that took for granted that there I find the goods. And so yeah, it's smart way to let people also listen to the B side on the other side. And then that was I was about to come to that. So when they did this record, as I said, they had been in the business for 8 years. They've been two albums, nothing happened. And the president of the Atlantic said to Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards, when they said we don't want to do a famous group, they are like family to us. That's how he said how close the girls that they felt for girls. And then they thought, oh, this is a good title for the album.
yeah. I mean, this is without a doubt their biggest hit, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
And what is amazed me about this is, well, there are two versions of it. 3:34 as the single,
yeah.
8 minutes
I
19
see.
on the
Yeah.
album, which is great because it's one of those songs that you don't ever want it to end. Uh,
Yes,
But I think that what is amazing about this, and it's one of those songs that everybody in the world knows. So it's been used in loads of commercials,
Yes.
but it's also been used in TV shows: The Medium, The Wire, Entourage, The Simpsons, Fillmore Girls, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Rub. And in the movies: Bridget Jones's Diary, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Transformers, You Again, Mission Impossible, Mickey Blue Eyes, The Full Monty, Birdcage, and Sister Act 2. So it's like every time you put the TV on, you've got this song playing in the background, and that's why it sounds so comfortable and familiar, I
Yeah.
expect. No.
Rolling Stones have it as number 34 on the greatest dance songs in history.
Wow. Well, I can see that. As I said, it's not my favorite song on the
Mhm.
album, but it is my second favorite song on the
Yeah.
album. It is absolutely outstanding, and it's one of those songs that is just everybody feels comfortable with. Interesting thing, and you'll know this, but and maybe many of the audience will as well. Luther Vandross
Yes.
doing backing vocals on this. He was one of the new signs to Atlantic, and no one had heard of Luther Vandross, and here he is producing backing vocals on this song. Just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. He was working also several years without no one noticing him. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's have a blast of this. We won't listen to the whole thing, 8 minutes 19 seconds, but we'll listen to some of it. Amazing bass playing, first of all, isn't it?
Yes.
Just
Bernard Edwards.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it's also incredible, isn't it, how it just starts. There's no build up here. We are straight in with like the main theme, and no bringing in of instruments gradually. It's just beautiful.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Everybody say we are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Everybody say. Let's walk and we see we're together. Let's walk on
Yeah,
by.
that's true.
And you fly just like birds of a feather. I want to know all of the people around the station. And if we get close, just let me stay forever. We give them love in a family. We are family.
Just it is a remarkable piece of work, this, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely remarkable piece of work. So interesting that, as Charlie says here, We're Family still uses the intro music for the New York Knicks home baseball games, as is basketball team. The Pittsburgh Pirates baseball team used this as well as their
Yes.
theme song. Although obviously the band did come from Philadelphia,
Yes.
so both of them it should be a Philadelphia team that uses it, really, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's so many teams that have used it. It's actually a part of the National Library of the U.S. Uh, so it has got a heritage status. This album.
Yeah, and I can see why. It's uh, so. You said earlier about the grandmother being an opera singer.
Oh
Apparently,
yes,
it was her who taught the girls how to harmonize,
Yes.
and you can hear it in all of the songs when they sing together, can't you?
Yes. Yes. So,
Absolutely great.
so that's why I think they were the only girls that could get away with this kind of a production approach that Nile Rodgers had. Thanks that they had a good foundation to stand on when they tackled this
Yeah.
way of work.
Right. I definitely think we should have a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
You couldn't be miserable listening to this, could you? You simply could not do anything other than smile.
yeah. So I've seen these girls also live, and it was fantastic. How people they put this when they started this song, the audience went nuts. So everyone sing along. So it's a good feeling song.
Yeah, and another one of those songs that you just don't want to turn off. You know,
Yeah.
you just want to have it playing. And as I said to you, Eric, before we started, you know, this week this has been one of the few weeks when I have not listened to anything except this album.
Yeah, that's a good measurement.
Because, you know, normally you get in the car and you know, if you've got a long journey, you've got
Yeah.
so yesterday morning I dropped my son off at work and I drove from my house to my mum's house where I parked the car and then went up to London, which is about 2.5 hour drive. Literally, this album was on repeat in the car. And then when I got on the train, I put my headphones in and I listened to the album on the train as well, because it was just like, I just need more of this sound. Absolutely.
My favorite track is actually the first track. He's the greatest answer. I'm completely lost how the introduction on how it starts with the guitar. It makes me immediately in a very good mood. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you get on the dance floor.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely magnificent. So easier to love.
Yeah. That no, from my point of view, this is the least the three last songs are not as good as the first the A side. So the B side is weaker than the A side.
Yeah, I would agree. But you know, these are still delightful,
Yeah.
delightful songs.
So that was the unique with these disco records, that they had four top quality singers, really good songs. And
Yeah.
another disco album only contains two good songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it seems like a way to me. It's easy to love, don't you see? Sometimes it seems that way to me. It's easy to love, don't you see? Won't someone please explain why all the pain? Can't you make them see it's not supposed to be?
It's another song where you're very, very aware of the string section, aren't
Yes,
you?
yes. The
Which,
6 strings.
yeah, I mean, it is like you said, it is really unusual to find a proper, like a almost like a little orchestra sitting
Yes.
in the corner of the songs, which seem to be, they're there on multiple songs, but it's one of those songs where they're pushed very much to the front, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I think we talked about it before, that I highlight the 70s as a better decade musical, because during the 70s they used real instruments instead of later on there were most groups used synthesizers and drum machines, and it's not the same feeling from my point of view.
No, and I think that I think obviously Jim is a very keen electronic music person, um, but I think that when when you are using synthesized violins, rather not because you want the sound of synthesizer, but because you don't want to pay for violins.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit like people that use tune on their
Yes.
voice. It's like, why don't you just learn to sing in tune? Would be a good starting point. And I think that it's really nice to have the real instruments there playing, and really nice that certain things become very obvious in each of the tracks. So very much strings in this track, very much piano in the first track on this side.
Yes.
And it's lovely, isn't it? Absolutely lovely that he's kind of moving these chess pieces around the board.
It's even more obvious when you go for a live concert, because then you really feel the effect of a whole band where they're playing with the real instruments. Because I've seen Barry White. He has a huge orchestration. Isaac Hayes. It
Yeah.
knocks you when you got the feeling. Yeah, can't beat anything.
Yeah, let's have a little burst more of the strings.
Oh, this beautiful land. See the children playing in the sand. I put to you this question, but you ain't and I don't understand why. Why? Sometimes it seems like
Yeah, fantastic.
So I think, so I don't forget this. The reason why they did this album was that because they did that album,
Yeah,
The Chic, and the singer from that, Le Freak, and there is a fantastic story about the Freak. 78, it was the peak year of disco, and everyone liked to go, that were living in New York, to go to Studio
Studio
54.
54. Yeah,
And uh, they had only produced one record before 77, so they were not so famous. And Grace Jones invited them to Studio 54. So she said, "Come to me in Studio 54." Yeah, okay. They said, "We do that," and then they were stopped in the door, and then they didn't get in because the guy in the door didn't know who they were, and they were famous for being a little bit picky.
mm,
And they say, "But Grace Jones invited us." Oh well, something have happened, because they were not on the guest list, because Studio 54 had a guest list that they could see. So they said their names. They didn't at that time, so the names didn't say anything. Not Roxman and Edwards. So this is hilarious. And then they gave up and they went home. I don't know if which of the guys just lived around the corner. So they were not happy. Oh, so they started to play, and then they was playing "Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off." And then they say we will do it too, song of this. And then after a while they say maybe we will have difficulties to have a release if we keep the title "fuck off" because in the US radio station no one will play a song with this title. So then Bernard Edwards came up with maybe we'll do Le Freak instead. So they replaced "fuck off" with Le Freak, and it became rather popular.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, it's you can find Nile Rodgers telling this. There's several interviews with him when they tell this story, and also if those that are interested, you can read this in his eminent, fantastic book. I recommend.
Yeah.
Another thing that he is telling was before they were Chic, they were struggling as a band because when the record people found them, they sent in these demo tapes, and they got rather good feedback. But when they showed up, they were shocked because they were black, and the music they were playing more like rock feeling. This is early 70s,
Mm.
and they couldn't just handle the contrast, a rock band and black people. So they never got a contract.
Wow.
And then the band were on a tour in London and in England, and Nile Rodgers lost his passport, so he couldn't follow his band's members back home to US. Instead, he found a girl that he lived with for a couple of weeks, and this girl took him to a lot of nice places in London. This was 74. And then he discovered Roxy Music and Brian Ferry.
Mm.
And he thought, oh, these guys are so cool and chic. So he came home, then he talked with Bernard Edwards that we need to do something, we need to change our concept. So that's why they left the rock business because no one wanted to. I mean, at that time in the US, they couldn't handle it, and then they went more into the. At that time, disco music started popping up 74.
Yeah.
So then they changed name to Chic instead.
Amazing.
Thanks to Brian Ferry and Roxy Music.
Well, absolutely. We have a lot to thank him for, don't we? So you're a friend to me.
Yes, I am.
Anything on this one?
No, nothing special. No.
Okay.
In my arms, you're a friend to me. You're a friend to me. Oh, I want you.
It's Debbie that sings this song.
Beg your pardon?
It's Debbie. It's Debbie, the sister Debbie that sings this song.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's another good song, but there's some such outstanding songs, and I think that the album has been put together in the wrong order.
Aha. Okay.
So if I were putting the
Mhm.
album, clearly, I'm better than Nile Rodgers, so I'll give him a bit of advice here. I would have put "He's the Greatest Dancer" as the first
Yeah.
track on the album. I think that's
To
perfect.
capture the audience.
I would have put "Lost in Music" as the last track on side one. I would have put "Thinking of You" as the first track on side two, and I would have
Oh.
finished the album with "We Are Family,"
Okay, yeah, that's a smart way. Yeah, that's a
and then you would have to listen
yeah,
to both
yeah.
sides in their entirety to really kind of
Yes,
um,
that's yeah,
yeah, because I think that although these last two tracks are good tracks in their own right, there isn't a banger coming up later down the record. So
that's
so there
correct.
isn't the same incentive to listen to this side that there was to listen to side one.
Yeah, you listen to We Are Family and that's it. Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which does seem like a bit of a shame because these are really good tracks, but they probably don't get in anybody's mind the airtime that they deserve, do they? So let's have a little bit more of that.
How have you been? It's so nice to see you again. I've been thinking of ways to make you feel good. Anything you want, it's understood. 'Cause you're more than a lover, you're a friend, do or die. You're still the end, and I remember it well. It was on a Sunday morning, on that day, a beautiful love was born. Wanna show you.
I mean, it is a really good track, isn't it? If I'd written and produced this, I'd be well happy.
yeah, yeah.
So that brings us on to the last one on the album. One more
Then
time.
it's Kim. Then it's Kim that sings this lead. So
Sorry.
no, then it's Kim. Kim is singing this lead. So
Mm.
everyone, all four girls have at least one song each. Yeah,
Yeah. So again, this rounds out the album, and whilst again it's a good song, it does feel like a little bit of an anticlimax, doesn't it? Because we've had such a high point on the album with
yes.
three of the songs.
Say one more time, kiss me, say one more time, say one more time, kiss me, say one more time. You keep saying that you want to love me. Well, I know that I know it's true. Surely it can be so hard to tell me, baby, you love me and I love you. Oh, say one more time, kiss me, say one more time, say one more time, kiss me, say one more time. You.
Yeah, I mean it's great, and the more you listen to these things, the more you hear the kind of the complexity and the production quality in it. I was just scrolling back over my notes while that was playing. Uh, Nile Rodgers has written, produced, and performed on records that have sold more than 500 million albums and 75 million singles
Yeah,
worldwide. I mean, that is a truly remarkable achievement, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. And then okay, this record made them more uh, popular among as show them as they also can produce other artists than themselves. So after that record, they were approached by Suzanne de Pass in Motown. So she showed up with Diana Ross without any notice. They just showed up during a concert and said, "Would you like to do a record with Diana Ross?" And of course, that was impossible to say no to. So they said, "Okay, we will do it," because then they have got confidence with the Sister Sledge. And then there is also a fantastic story about this, how it came, because uh, in the clubs in New York, the best way to do research was going to the gay clubs. They had the best music. So it was Nile Rodgers that one night was in even it was not only the gay club, it was also transvestite. So he was finding himself in the men's room, standing, at the uh, and then he looked left, and then he looked right, and there were 5, 6 person. How do you say this in English? Personitators. There were
Impersonators.
impersonators. Men they were dressed like Diana Ross. 5, 6 guys dressed like Diana Ross.
Fantastic.
And he was rather blessed. So he went to payphone in the club, and in the middle of the night he woke Bernard Edwards up and said, "I'm coming out." What do you mean? And he was confused. Well, are you drunk? No, no. When I wake up tomorrow, you have to write this up. I'm coming out. And he didn't understand. And then he explained, "I got an idea for the record that we will do with Diana Ross. I'm coming out," because he was big in this
Yeah.
surroundings, and she didn't know that. And Nile Rodgers didn't know that either. And he saw this was a good way. And when they had produced made the record, Berry Gordy, if you remember, Berry Gordy said no to Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On." Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He said no to also the Diana Ross record. So they said no, it will not be any record. So they had the whole album, and Berry Gordy said no, no. And they were a famous DJ, radio DJ, that told Diana Ross, "No, this will ruin your career." But anyhow, someone along the line, they took a decision within Motown to actually release the album, and it became her best-selling album ever.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So there we are. That's the end of the album, and yeah, it's been absolutely outstanding week.
Yeah, and the hour went too quick. I had more to say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
another time. Yes.
yeah, so thank you very much, Eric. It's been fantastic. Next week, I'm being joined by Helen Wybrants, and we're going to look at God's Great Banana Skin from Chris.
Oh.
An album that again I don't know, but what I would like to do is play us out with my favourite from here. So thank you very much, everybody. See you all next week, and a bit of Lost in Music.
Yes.